Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. How do we feel? No cats in the room today, nobody for me to use as a sounding board. We feel calm, we feel cool, we feel collected. We're ready to go. With Guppy's Paw and at least one real red heart, 47LH1CMC. It's a bit of a tricky situation, to be honest. I find myself tempted to use Guppy's Paw right off the bat to create a little buffer for us on HP, you know, 3 Spirit Hearts. And I feel like there's an analytical approach you could take to this, and I don't want to get too far up my own butt. Basically, I never actually solve these analytical problems, I just bring them up as potential areas for concern. Is it a good idea, with Curse of the Unknown on the first floor, to use Guppy's Paw when you know you have 1 HP, but might... Well, sorry, I shouldn't say you know you have 1 HP. Actually, Pyromaniac totally changes the dynamic as well, because now, we almost certainly will not want to, because we can get red hearts back just by using bombs, especially now that we have a Spirit Heart. Okay, problem solved. But in an average situation, maybe it's worth it, you know, because sometimes, you know, you're going to have 1 HP, and then this will save you from getting one hit by a champion. Sometimes you'll have more than 1 HP, and if so, the consequences for using a Guppy's Paw charge are not that big. I kind of feel like we should save our bombs rather than getting 1 extra key right now. My thinking being, we might be able to use it to facilitate arcade play on the next floor. And I know we have a library or some sort of... I don't remember if it was a library or a double key room. We'll go check that out before we fight the boss here. Really, I think if you have confidence that you can get to the end of the floor and hopefully not have Curse of the Unknown on the next floor, you're probably going to be fine. So in the oh, it's a double bomb room, an Isaac's room. I will check it out. Clean room. I wanted to say dirty room. So there's another, and now again, the plot just gets thicker and thicker every time. First off, TNT is basically a garbage item. But trading 3 bombs for Minecrafter, maybe it's not so bad. If we sleep in the bed, we can actually also use the bed to determine how much HP we have, because we can only sleep in it when we're on Spirit Hearts alone. We could get 3 Spirit Hearts out of it. So technically we would get 6 Spirit Hearts out of 1 red heart, but I think that it's like a little too precious. You know what I mean? I think it's just like not... It's maybe a clever idea, but I don't know if it's smart. And I want to be smart as opposed to clever. Clever is spending a bunch of resources to create an item pedestal where one would normally not exist, but maybe screwing yourself into not being able to go into an item room or something as a result. I would love a Tears upgrade. Anyway, what I was going to say is the next chapter in the ill-advised fitness arc, it's the next day, post-workout. I know I mentioned that, you know, doing squats almost made me throw up. My legs, they're a little sore. You know, and my back is a little sore, but like good sore. My glutes are a little sore. The kind of sore where you like, you know, have worked out and you feel good about it. Your body's like, why are you doing this? You know, you could be living that Wall-E world right now. You could be sitting in an autonomous chair getting a glucose slurry delivered to your veins. All your needs taken care of by the quote-unquote algorithm. My arms... Oh, dude, thank you so much. You know, I'm just gonna head down. My arms, I cannot unbend my elbows. You know when you see like a big guy, you know, on Venice Beach walking around, and they always got their arms like cocked out and their chest puffed out. I thought that was like a bravado thing. You know, I thought it was like, hey, check it out, like I'm putting my goods on display. I didn't realize that all of those guys, they're putting on a happy face, but internally they're like, my arms hurt. I'll get over it. What I mean by get over it is not that I'll get over the pain, but, you know, I'm sure after like, you know, 2 workouts, the soreness will exist, but at a more palatable and present level. It's just literally, it's like, you know, when Neo says, you know, why do my eyes hurt? And then Morpheus goes, because you're using them for the first time. You know, that's what's happening here. My body had redirected. Yo, let's see what this is. Yikes. 5 bombs, though. My body had redirected all the arm juice to other parts of my body. Probably my brain. Since I've been watching so much Jeopardy and Rick and Mortimer. And now it's like, oh, you wanted these? Well, why didn't you make it known that you still wanted to be able to use your arms over the past few years? And I'm saying to my body, exercise, it's called carrying the groceries in from the car in a single trip. Look it up, sweetheart. Anyway, that's the end of the insufferable arc for today. Nobody wants to hear... Well, let me put it this way. You know, as someone who is... I mean, I don't even want to say I've been on both sides of the coin, because I haven't been on the, you know, the fitness side of the coin in a long time. But I was there once. And when you're getting swole, all you want to do is talk about it with other people. Yo, bro, you doing those Bulgarian split squats? Yeah, I hate them, but they're great for your quads, blah, blah, blah. You know, oh, bro, what's your nutrient timing? Oh, I like to have protein and fat, or protein plus carbs in a meal, but I never put carbs and fat in a meal because it leads to quick digesting low GI sugars. High GI sugars. I don't remember how it works. Anyway, you get the idea. And, you know, it's great if you're part of the community, but if you're not part of the community, it's insufferable. Like, I hate to say it, but there's some truth to the matter. Like, if I talk to somebody and I'm like, how's your day? And they're like, oh, it's cool. I went to the gym earlier today and, you know, it was, you know, a good time. Got a good workout in. I feel happy for them, legitimately. As long as they don't mention any other sentences about their workout. Like, yeah, bro, I've been going for 6 weeks, noticing one heck of a pump. That's when it's like, I don't want to hear about this anymore. Not necessarily out of jealousy, just more out of like, you know, we're not part of the same, we're not in the same cult right now. And I believe that, you know, fitness is a little bit of a cult, but, you know, in a good way. You know, Bitcoin has been a cult, you know, stream communities have been a cult, you know. I'm not trying to get you like a galaxy brain take here. Yo, okay, Sister Maggie's obviously bad, but we can go for that. Oh, dude, Sacrificial Altar is fine, and it turned into Contract from Below, which I think is good. I stand by our decision-making process here. I really do. And maybe I won't spend money, but I do stand by this. I like our DPS. I would really like to improve our rate of fire. If we can get 1 tiers upgrade, I'm going to be an extremely happy man. But we are going to hit up our curse room. I mean, we have a guppy item already. So we got Contract from Below. And, well, actually, we really only got Contract from Below for all those hearts, didn't we? When you put it that way, it sounds bad. Because we got Sister Maggie, and then we got Sacrificial Altar. But we didn't pay full price. You know, we got a 33% off discount because of the ability to use Guppy's Paw. In fact, we got a refund, really. I shouldn't use the phrase cult. Obviously, that's a loaded word. What I mean is an obsession. And there's good obsessions and bad obsessions, you know? I know one of the favorite expressions that people have whenever somebody starts to, like, change their life is everything in moderation, including moderation. I don't stand by this. I think it's too pithy. It's too glib. I think it's well-intentioned, but perhaps not backed up by the scientific literature. Hold on. Let me see what's going on. It'll drop another bomb. We got both. No combats, please. I'm going to buy something from the shop as well. Sometimes I think obsession... Ooh, are going in different directions now. Sometimes I think obsession can be a good thing. I don't mean like becoming obsessed with another human being necessarily. I mean like having a hobby that you get really, really into that, you know, maybe... Well, I wish I found this room before the boss, but, you know, maybe you invest more time in it. I am a fool. Than other people would consider appropriate. But, you know, if you can use that as a way to bootstrap yourself towards competency, I think that's okay. Although maybe it leads to unsustainable choices. But anyway, all I'm trying to say is that, you know, I think some obsessions are good. Let's rephrase. Some obsessions are constructive, some obsessions are destructive, and some obsessions are kind of like a net neutral. Like, you know, if you temporarily get obsessed with your own health, you know, not from a hypochondriac standpoint, but from a diet and exercise standpoint, there's probably negative aspects, but I would say that's constructive. If you get obsessed with, you know, watching Tidying Up featuring Marie Kondo on Netflix, I would say that's neutral. It might be constructive because you know, declutter your life. It might be destructive because you're spending too much of your time, you know, just watching Netflix instead of improving your ability and station and overall fulfilledness in life. But simultaneously, who am I to judge? You know, I watched all of Murder Mountain despite not even really enjoying the show. Although, does one really enjoy a documentary about murder? Well, in hushed tones, perhaps. And an obsession with, you know, the Russian street drug crocodile, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, probably a net destructive obsession. Luck down. This run is actually, it's not in the danger zone yet. But a lot of its success and or failure right now hinges on my own skill. And that's, you know, it's not uncommon. But it's just something to keep in mind, I guess is the best way to describe it. Our own play could springboard us to greatness or could leave us in the lurch. Would I rather have Contract from Below or 3 red hearts? Right now I would rather have 3 red hearts. I guess we would lose 3 spirit hearts in the process just due to the way that we tackled the last floor, but you know, like I think that we can probably be the big enough man to admit here that if we could do this all over again, it's not a huge mistake yet, but we would probably do it slightly differently. But hey, Contract from Below, that's kind of the idea here, is that it's going to give us enough resources to eventually pay for itself, and then hopefully be better than that. You would probably not be happy about paying 3 HP for Contract from Below, but I would be happy in most situations paying 2. And, you know, I mean, that's what it normally costs, right? I think 1 is a steal. I will go to the curse room. We've been whiffing on these curse rooms. Like, if I was ever to rank every single room in the Binding of Isaac, curse rooms previously would have been very high on the list. I don't know if they've been tweaked or if maybe for a while we just had an overly generous sample, but I feel like lately, and by lately, you know, it's lately in an Isaac context, which means like over the past year or so, I feel like they've been a lot less fruitful. Dude, I was looking for the shop. Didn't even realize we were right next to it at the boss fight the whole time. What an idiot. Weird. We don't want anything, and we can't re-roll it yet. So, I'm hopeful that maybe we'll pick up some sort of consumable after completing the boss fight. But, you know, the best item we could get right now, I mean, obviously Magic Mush is up there, but in terms of, like, I never like to ask for the #1 item because it just seems greedy. If you want to give me an item that would be very good and uniquely good in our situation right now, hit me up with Squeezy. Getting a little closer to Spun is fine, but we are in a very dangerous situation when it comes to our rate of fire, and actually our speed is a little bit too high. So, you know, for every rule, there's an exception, right? And this is the exception to the rule of being a little bit more conservative on deals with the devil. And I'm very, very, very happy with how this turned out. We basically traded a Spirit Heart for Guppy's head, and we lost Guppy's paw, but we're okay with that. We're still waiting on the Game Buster. In this case, basically becoming Guppy likely indicates a win. If we don't become Guppy, we're still probably gonna be okay. I don't really want to do a boss trap room, but, you know, there's a lot of runs that we've done where we've been like, Like, that's a terrible bit of damage there. To get hit by a dingle this late in the game is embarrassing. There's been a lot of runs where we've been like, you know what? You know, we can't lose. And then, I don't think it's a result of that hubris necessarily. Not directly, at least. I think it's a result of, you know, the shifting, you know, fates of your average Isaac run, where some floors are fantastic for you, and then, you know, you can go 6 floors without getting a meaningful upgrade sometimes. You know, most runs eventually reach a point at which it looks like a loss is impossible, or very, very, very unlikely. We gotta, you know, tackle these guys in a time-appropriate fashion. And basically don't get hit. Because if we have a deal with the devil that gives us Guppy, and it's not 9 lives, we have to have the HP base to take it. So just stay, again, you know, I wouldn't even come close to suggesting we're in a bad spot. But just stay frosty. You know, I don't know what that means, but I know that men with larger muscles who do a more dangerous job than myself say it all the time. As you can tell from the Team Unity Tuesday streams, I'm not much of a frosty individual. I shot Dan in the head with the crossbow in that series just because I got scared. I saw movement on my screen and one-tapped him. Now, if I could tap into that adrenaline on an esports-related context, that would be nice, but I don't know if I have that capacity. I'm not upset to be fighting Greed. I hope that it just means we won't be fighting Super Greed next floor, because really what I want to do is get a reroll machine and buy as many Spirit Hearts as we can. I used to underrate that. Who wants to... Remember, like, there's so many episodes of me being embarrassed with myself now. Who cares about HP? Wow, imagine being in such a place in, you know, Isaac that you actually care about HP. When we were younger, i.e. worse at the game, we used to think HP was good. Dude, now I'd rather have a shot speed upgrade. I don't know if I ever said that last one, but, you know, I'm playing it up for dramatic effect. I've come to, you know, rediscover HP is the lifeblood. Would we rather have damage? Probably. But there's something to be said for a run that, you know, it gives you the fuel you need to keep going. So this is basically I walked into the fire. This is a test of our reaction time, more or less. We've done okay. I'm really just wary about having 3.5 Spirit Hearts. But I do think we're going to get out of that just fine. But I think it's going to be a little... It might be a little spooky before it gets saved, you know? Whoa, easy money. Okay. Really, this is kind of like the worst sort of room for us right now. That stinks. Especially with a lot of enemies and a low rate of fire. It's causing us some problems. I think this will be a secret room. I'm willing to take a look. You know, raw liver basically wins us the run. The Forsaken is usually not bad. Obviously, we're hoping for 9 lives, but... like, deal with the devil 9 lives. But, you know, an HP upgrade. Give me a little bit more confidence. Sure, that's... If there was ever a time where I was going to be happy with an HP upgrade, it's probably right there. We're so far behind schedule, which is indicative of a pretty bad DPS. But this floor, we got good deal with the devil optics and a great chance... to maybe make this Guppy dream come true. Because a red heart is... Here's the way I look at a red heart on a run like this. As of this point, you know, it's confidence for a while that we're going to survive. And then after that, it's a free deal with the devil. If you're rolling from a Spirit Heart-related worldview, one red heart basically is like, hey, here's a coupon for a free deal with the devil later. All I'm going to do when it comes to taking this amount of dumb damage, which is not a plethora, but is more than I would like, dude. So good. Thank you, Maggie's Faith. Is say that your boy, which is me, is embarrassed but also very not accustomed to having 2 speed at this point in a run. I'm not saying I would rather have 1 speed, but I would rather have, like, probably 1.4 speed than 2. It does make these rooms a little bit easier. Demon Baby. I think with this amount of money, we shoot for the fences. None of these are better than Guppy's head yet. Don't at me. The relic is. Okay, so that defensive item. We need both defense and offense right now. We're at like a 4 out of 10 in both of those categories. Which is, you know, should still be winnable. But having the relic helps out a great deal. So I also, you know, with this amount of money, I want to visit the shop. Sorry, we were talking a lot about, wow, Isaac stuff. You know what? I don't know. It's a little touchy. We're talking a lot about Isaac stuff. That's because this run has become a little bit more Isaac forward than it used to be. You know, I got in that anecdote about, like, I'm not exaggerating, by the way. Maybe sometimes it's productive to start telling an anecdote because I think it allows me to focus, excuse me, flies, on the game as opposed to what I'm talking about. I literally, oh, okay, watch out for champions. I literally woke up like 2 hours before normal. Because I was sleeping in such a position where my arms were like, hey, please stop that. We're trying to survive here. Like, I'm walking around looking like, you know the Twitter meme? Like, hey, I'm the sheriff of blank. That's me right now. Everywhere I go, I'm like, I'm the sheriff of lactic acid. Don't get hemmed in. But at the same time, sometimes too much space is a curse, you know? You get analysis paralysis. When you could go anywhere, you end up standing still sometimes. If you can only go 1 or 2 directions, you know, maybe makes your dodges a little bit easier. And I think that's a good metaphor for life as well, but it's not really where I was going. Okay, so this is the exact shop we wanted. This is a tough choice for me. I think we will take car battery instead of going for more spirit hearts. We got enough spirit hearts, I think. And making, I mean, we have to. But at least we only took half a heart on the way there. Yeah. Just don't step on the spikes and you're good. You know, making Guppy's head twice as good, or any spacebar item twice as good, is something I'm very interested in moving forwards here. Now, if we can get Hive Mind, might not even, you know, we will forget about our desire. Yo, that was close. Oh, wait, we can't be hit by explosions. The only thing we have to worry about is contact damage from the bombs, at least. Okay, Tears upgrade. Merciful. Actually, like a huge increase in our DPS. And then this would be a very, very good time to get Lump of Coal. I would still take Guppy's head over Krampus's head. Do not at me. So I'm happy we got that. For anyone who's not aware of the terminology, sorry, I had to reposition myself. Don't at me. Don't at me is an expression you use when you issue what is known as a quote-unquote hot take. A hot take is an opinion that is not necessarily wrong, but might be. But is, you perceive that opinion to put you in the minority. So, like, hot take. You know, hot dogs are better than hamburgers. I think that qualifies as a justifiable hot take. I think that hamburgers are more popular, maybe by a standard deviation. So I think that is a hot take. And then you say, don't at me, because you're like, hey, I know you disagree. We ain't got to argue about it. Unfortunately, what most people use hot take for is very, very bad. It's become like the new DAE. Like, does anybody else like to use soap in the shower? Well, I beg you. I wonder, maybe we'll get lucky. Oh. almost got tagged there. Dude, so Book of Shadows is tempting me, but I still think we need the offensive help more than the invincibility. Although, maybe I'm just wrong. Spikes! Thank you. Spikes saved my life there. Now we can get some extra flies just by doing that. Love it. Most people use hot take. They'll be like, hot take. Cheese tastes good. And then people are like, yeah, it's not a hot take. Or the other way that they do it, and I don't know if this is the best hot take or the worst, but they'll say like, hot take, incredibly wrong opinion. Like, offensive, demonstrably incorrect, like anti-science opinion. They'll be like, hot take, the earth is flat. And you're like, oh, baby, what is you doing? Etc., etc. My hot takes are largely mildly controversial video game opinions. See ya. I can't believe we made it through there without getting hit. Serves me right. Dude, if you don't believe me, by the way, you might be like, how is NL screwing this run up a little bit? Well, I always look to the times. Not like the London times or the times of the city known as New York, but rather, you know, the time it takes us to complete the run. For where we are in the run, we are so far behind schedule that it's like comical. That's almost always a great indication that even if it doesn't appear to be terrible, particularly the DPS on the run is not good. This is a landmark potential decision, and I'll tell you why. Not taking Book of Shadows could really come back to bite us. Hot take, Book of Shadows might be a better item than Guppy's Head. I think, you know, there's situations where they differ. I kind of see a doubled Guppy's Head as like a, as a shoop-de-whoop that homes. We can't target it, unfortunately. But it has a decent enough damage output to have me interested. But I'll tell you, on this room specifically, your boy would love the invincibility. This room could kill us. It probably won't now, because we've actually done pretty well, except for the little hit we took. You need the Polaroid. Work with me, boys. You need Sin Robes. And the damage, you know, by the way, thank you, Maggie's Faith, for helping, you know, give us one deal with the devil fuel per floor. We need to keep getting this DPS up there. It's almost above average. Or let's not shoot for the moon yet. It's almost at average, I would say. Like, we're 8 rate of fires, 6.5 damage. I was going to round it to 7, but that seems a little overly generous right now. It's still below average for where we're at, but it can get there. This combined with the relic, you know, this is a mathematical run. This run is arm wrestling. You know, we've survived long enough that we got that burst of adrenaline, and I think we're just maybe a little bit stronger than the game now. All we gotta do is pivot the wrist, get that leverage, and take him down. As you can tell, my arms are sore, so I am an extremely good arm wrestler. Now that we got a little bit of cognitive space, we can start to talk about what I'm getting at. I used to be, and I still am like this to some extent. I used to be a boom-bust sort of guy when it comes to hobbies. You know, when I got into a hobby, I went all in. And then I, you know, oftentimes, like, I'm obsessed with a hobby, especially when I was younger. I'd get obsessed with a hobby. I'd learn, like, everything I could about it over the course of a couple of months, thinking about it, you know, as often on a daily basis as I could. And then, like, something would happen, and I'd be like, I don't really care about it anymore. You know, I just, like, get out of the habit, for example. And I've worked as an adult I've worked as an adult for a couple of different reasons. One is to embrace consistency, and I've talked about this more in different episodes, particularly with respect to, you know, my ongoing education. If you had told, like, 16-year-old me that I'm in the middle of a computer science degree program that will probably take me, like, 7 or 8 years to complete as a result of the speed at which I'm taking classes, his head would explode. His head wouldn't have a chance to explode, because I would also have talked to him earlier and been like, yo, bro, the reason we can't take so many classes, we spend too much of our time playing video games as our job. He would be dead. Anyway, you know, but I've come to accept, you know, I've become decent at programming. I don't know what measure you would use for that, but, you know, when I go to the bookstore and I look at the programming books, much of them I go, it's too general. You know, I need more specific knowledge right now. I don't need, like, a head first into C#. You know, I need, like, how to build a micro WCF web service using Visual Studio 2017. And they don't stock those books at Indigo, unfortunately. I would like to go to the curse room, dude, but it's a tough sell. Oh, especially after fighting, or whilst fighting the Matriarch. This is another room that makes it very clear the right decision was to take Book of Shadows. I'm not afraid who flippin' knows it, man. This boss is absolutely terrible, and I hate them. I wish for them to be removed from the game. This boss is a flippin' streak buster. Yo. Okay, this is... I felt the adrenaline. I felt my chest seize up a little bit. It's this weird little nub that's the worst. Can I just say thank God we chose not to go to the curse room? That, right off the bat, it's got me feeling okay. No deal with the devil, that's fine. We know we're getting HP back. Just do me a favor and... Oh, there's no point in walking back. Don't look back in anger. Okay, we gotta do like one room and get the relic. I would rather fight Mom's Heart as every boss over the course of like an entire game than fight the Matriarch there. The Matriarch is a boss placed into this game to kill streaks. You can't convince me otherwise. Now, you know what hard counters the Matriarch? Please don't. Please, not right now, okay? Oh, how about being able to use invincibility once every 2 rooms and then just use your attack fly to whittle... Oh, you know what? Alright, I made a mistake. There's no doubt about it at this point. I should have taken... Please. That was very good. I should have taken... Book of Shadows. Is forcing me to reconcile the fact that I do overrate Guppy's head. Not just in the, like, you know, what do I take it over situation, but just, I probably overrate the offense that it does as well. By the way, I want to point out, it's another tricky room. It's imperative to me. This might be the hardest floor we face in the game. I know that sounds super wrong, but I sort of still believe it. Thank you, Relic. You know, I'm a little bit wary about the chest for sure. But I really think, like, you know, some of the enemy... And combined with the Matriarch, like, that was a friggin' nightmare. But... I actually just don't know how you dodge the Matriarch. I think literally the best option for you on that fight is just to overclock your mind. If you can start to think at like a Pentium, Sandy Bridge, I don't know, all my hardware knowledge is very outdated. If you don't have a 486 processor in that thing, just, you know, watch out is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, okay, like... Again, our crowd control is real bad. There we go. We found a seam, managed to make it work. Mom's Heart shouldn't be too bad. It's the right time to do it as well. But you never know. Moreover, it's not just about beating Mom's Heart. It's about beating Mom's Heart and having the best chance possible for a deal with the devil. You know, we can't control if we lose the 1/3 chance, but we can control if we lose on the 1/3 chance, I should say. But we can control having the best available opportunity. Please. What are you gonna do? And that's, I mean, that's, you know, sincerely and without a hint of being upset. What are you gonna do? You know, you don't get to deal with the devil. You just gotta make it work. It's time to put on my tactical chapstick. Done. How do we win at this point? Well, we might be in do as many rooms as possible territory to get those relic payouts. I don't expect the chest to be good for us. There's some enemies who are really bad. And then on top of all that, our luck stat is so bad, despite contract from below. I don't really expect... Sure. I don't really expect good opportunities to get items. I would like to say, I mean, I've implied it. This is the first run of the day. That's not for me to say, oh, why won't the game be more generous to me? It's actually me saying, please forgive me for the decision and not take Book of Shadows, which probably would have made this a little bit more, well, a little bit easier, but perhaps mildly less engaging as we approach the end. It's a very tense run. And every room, basically what I look for right now is, you know, with every room that goes by, I thought you were a different one of you. With every room that goes by, we get a little closer to a relic payout. Isaac should not be that difficult. I don't think we want to blow that up. I don't think we want to play it either. Sadly, I think we need all the red hearts we can get. So you can do me an enormous service right now, my friend, with this card. I don't think that's the card we want, but you know what? We'll pop it right away. Probably is better to pop it later, like on the chest, for example, because on the chest we'll get the opportunity to find a chest in the room, and the chest would be guaranteed to have an item, whereas here, you know, just consumables. But this gives me the space to hold something like a better card, if possible. Like an Emperor card would be so very, very precious right now. But we're doing, I think, you know, it's not a perfect run, obviously, but we're doing what we need to do in order to have a chance to succeed. You know, we're hanging back. Maggie's Faith has maybe been the most underrated and essential item involved. Get him. No consumables. This is it's a bad room. It's the telefrag, man. The higher your speed is on this room, here's a hot take where I don't want to be added. The higher your speed on this room, the more likely you are to be hit. Just from walking into enemies. Because, you know, your momentum is a property of your speed and your mass. In Isaac as in life. Really, we're not rooting for easy floors. We're rooting for easy rooms. The more easy rooms... Didn't hear anything. The more easy rooms we get, the more easy relic payouts we get. We also, at this point, it's a good, very good, I can't believe I didn't recognize it earlier. We probably want to save our bombs and use them to gain HP. And I'll level with you to a greater extent. We're throwing a lot of hope, faith, etc., etc. I'm saving the bomb. Behind the first 4 items we get on the chest. If we can get more items, oh man, I'll be so happy. The first 4 items we get on the chest are of paramount importance. I'm not, you know, the top tier items, you don't need me to tell you, obviously. You know, Brimstone cannot show up there without chaos, I believe. But, you know, if we can get a mom's knife in that chest, everything looks a lot more palatable. Lucky me, you're alive. If we can get an Ipecac in those chests, everything is a lot more palatable. If we can get a Lard in those chests, if we can get a Pyro, everything starts to flow just a little bit better. Now, I really, to be honest, I expected to beat this fight without taking any damage, so it's bad positioning, I think, that's leading me to this sorry fate. But we're going to make it down. We're going to have 4 HP with an Eternal Heart. Very, you know, at this point, you need to be thinking about all these little edge cases, right? Being able to hold on to a different trinket as opposed to Maggie's Faith is very important. No vanity. Oh, there is a vanity. Never mind. Flush is bad. Robo Baby, not very good. Getting closer to Beelzebub, maybe via Friend Zone. And I don't even know. Mongo Baby at least is... it helps, but now it's another Robo Baby, I suppose. Or is it? No, it is. I'm going to blow that up once. Amazing. I will use Flush on one room. It accomplished nothing, which is what it does. And following this, obviously, we'll be going back to Guppy's head. So I think that the run, you know, let's consider it a blessing. The game has given us a run on which basically our win will be purely determined by our skill on the chest. Is that frightening? Oh, yes. Because for the most part, by this point in your average Isaac run, you can just pretend to be good. And be like, wow, I'm so good. Look at how I kill enemies with a single shot. But, you know, it's not that situation right now. Clearly. Yo, these guys, they're doing... You notice a little bit more about the AI when you don't kill enemies in one shot as well. Like, namely, right now, I'm noticing they're doing a great job on positioning of, like, trying to box me out. Why am I trying to dodge their bombs? Like, it's not that we should get hit by them, but getting hit by them doesn't hurt us right now, so... Okay, more bombs. Actually, bombs are fuel for life. Kill the spiders, but apart from that, I don't really care. Give me an Emperor card, or you're a coward. I don't even want to think about how much HP we'd have right now if we had just stuck with Book of Shadows instead. The Empress, you know, is close, and when it's close, you can't complain. That's the rule. They could have just misheard me. I have a tendency to misspeak. I talk a lot. It overloads my Broca and Wernicke's areas in my brain, and then they get atrophied. Well, not atrophied. Overworked, really. Terrible room. Basically, I said to myself, are we better off using Empress here or using it on Blue Baby? And I said to myself, that's an easy choice. We would much rather use it right here. So let me hit you with another hot take. By the way, I guess now that I think about it, we won't get hit by the spikes because they're explosions, which is very merciful. We can get hit by the creep. So just be very careful about that. If you get relic payouts, don't take them. You save them. You might get 2 or 3 of them over the course of the floor. You can always heal yourself with bombs and then take the relics at the end to give you maybe even permanent Polaroid invincibility on the boss fight. Okay, a Joker card might be interesting. We will pop a 2 of clubs. This is the rare situation. You won't see me do this very often. I'm not popping 2 of clubs immediately. That hurts. Because I think we might have the opportunity to get even more bombs out of it later. Wow. They are smart guys. You know you want it. If you're having this much trouble with adversaries, you know your run is in a world of hurt. I think double up and be smart is the right way to do it still. Blue Baby, by the way, will still be an annoying run. Or an annoying fight under these parameters. But at least, you know, it's a more predictable enemy. Which is what makes Blue Baby kind of an underwhelming final boss. But, you know, not one that we're going to be unhappy to face. We just want to... Basically, we want to catch them going in the same direction whenever possible. So that we can dodge in a different direction and have a good chance to get out of there without getting hit. This is a pretty good room, honestly. I think we got very lucky there. Keep it going. Still got 11 bombs. And with every room, we get a little bit closer to fighting Blue Baby. If we make it to Blue Baby, we're probably fine. Even those are helpful. So I think we've had an incredibly generous chest. We fought 1 or 2 bad rooms, but we didn't fight, you know, double gate is pretty annoying. Although our range is good enough, we'd probably be fine, but our DPS is low enough that it would be a bit cumbersome for sure. What we would love to see is no damage on this fight and then a relic payout. And then I think use your brain. Go back here, obviously. Forget the secret. Forget everything you thought you knew about the secret room. Drop this immediately. And who cares about Maggie's faith right now? Now go into this room and just give it your all. I wouldn't even use bombs against him. I would save each one of those bombs as a precious golden gift of a single red heart. I can't believe we got hit by that, to be fair, but... I looked at the shot. I had it tracked all the way in, and I said to myself, there is no way that homing shot's going to make it here. That one is more on me, for sure. Not that it's more on me, but that it's the moron version of myself that let me get hit like that. So there's no need to be anxious yet. We have 11 bombs. Mathematically, if we even hit with half of those bombs, it should be impossible for us to die. We also have, thankfully, I still probably would have been substantially better off, even on this specific fight, with invincibility, so we could use our orbitals to kill the boss, but, you know, we can talk about coulda, shoulda, woulda till the end of time. The best thing we can say about this run right now is we're probably going to get, at this point, it looks like we're going to get a win. We're also going to get a lesson. And that lesson is, you know, think more carefully about defensive items. Even when your offense is bad, sometimes you can add through subtraction, you know? All you got to do is subtract a negative and then you get a positive. Think about that when you're thinking about your New Year's resolutions. That's a good win. We could have made it a lot easier on ourselves, but here we are. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. If it's a great deal, of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. See ya.